Hey teachers, are you tired of sounding like a broken record? What I mean is you are constantly repeating yourself over and over and over again. What are you doing?
What?
It's like, what are you doing?
I'm trying to get this steak to cook, and I'm like trying to stop.
Hey teachers, are you sick and tired of sounding like a broken record in your classroom? Do you hear yourself saying, sit down 100 times per day? I have a little hack for you that is going to save you so much time and your breath and your voice. Not only that, but it's going to help your classroom community continue running smoothly. I came up with this idea because I felt like I was constantly saying the same things over and over. Plus our classroom is so big and the ceilings are so tall that my voice was like drowning out and you couldn't hear anything. And so I needed a way to project my voice so that the kids in the back of the classroom could hear. I got a JBL speaker, or you could use any Bluetooth speaker, and then use the voice memos on your phone. This is a secret tip that I am excited to share. So I have used all of my classroom commands and all of our sayings, and I've saved them into voice commands on my phone. So now instead of saying the same thing over and over again, now I just play it on my phone and it automatically sounds loud on our classroom speaker. This classroom hack can be used for anything, including announcements, for redirecting your students, for transitions, stopping points, praise, anything. So this is super easy to set up on your phone. All you've got to do is have the Voice Memos app on your phone. I like to save mine on the most recent things used on my home page so I can just quickly go to that screen, click the button, and then it takes me in there to all of my saved drafts. So funny story, when I first set this up, I realized like I was having a kind of a stressful day and I sounded a little reactive and you could hear the stress in my voice. So I made a point to go back and record all of my voice memos in a voice that's almost like a flight attendant. And so instead of saying sit down, I'm saying things like, please sit down. And it's very calming and soothing. That is one of the reasons why I love voice memos. Okay, so one of the ways that you can use voice memos is for classroom callbacks. So we set up a classroom callback where I say, ba 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 da ba, and then the kids respond with dot dot. You can also do something else like hocus pocus, and everyone responds with everybody focus. If you have other callbacks that you do, you can add those to it and just play it to get the students' attention instead of having to scream it. You could even do something like, if you hear me, clap once. If you hear me, clap twice. Literally any callback that you do, you can put on there. Just make sure that you save the title of what the callback is, so then that way you can quickly find it in your voice memos. The next idea for using voice memos is for transition reminders. So we have a countdown where I am simply counting down from 10. And I use this when I notice they need to light a fire under their tush in order to move in transition. So we start with 10, 9, 8, 7, and then finally when we get down to 1, it says quiet, calm, collected. And we use these little hand motions too. Another transition idea is to say clean up, and then the kids respond with everybody do your share, and they all clean up. In my school, we have uniforms, and so I use our uniforms to group our students when I am releasing to another class or activity. And I say, if you have a blue polo, you may go get blah, blah, blah. But you could also group students based off of their birthdays. If you have a birthday in June, you may go get blah, 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 your snack, whatever. Another way that you could group students is by if you are wearing the color green or t-shirt color, whatever. So we use this whenever we are transitioning to grab our snacks or when we are lining up, and having those helps us and helps me start with something new every day, so I'm not starting with the same kids. Again, you can set a timer on there, and once you start your timer, you can say you have 3 minutes to begin, and let it go for 3 minutes. And at the 2-minute mark, remind them and say, you have 2 minutes left. You have 1 minute left. And then the last 10 seconds, you can count down from 10 all the way to 0 so that students know how much time they have. This is a great way to have just a simple brain break where kids literally get to do whatever for 3 minutes and just relax. You can also use voice memos for recording positive phrases, like saying something like, I'm so proud of my class, or you guys are amazing, something like that. So then that way you're also recording positive phrases so that kids are not scared of your voice memos. You know, the one thing I forgot to do on here is I am recording my video in the wrong orientation. I didn't realize that until just now. So the other thing that you can do with these voice memos is you can also have a beginning of day morning announcement. And so if there's something that you needed to say, like the lunch menu or whatever, you can play that through your voice memo and project that sound onto a Bluetooth speaker so that the kids have their morning announcements right there. Or if you have a morning greeting that you like to say, you can do that as well. The same thing for an end of day. We're working right now on our end of day routine, and so I have that displayed on the board, but I also have my end of day routine on my voice memos, so then that way I can play it and say, step 1, and remind them so I'm not screaming that or projecting my voice at the end of the day. Which brings us to the next way that you can use voice memos, and that is to share instructions for what it is you are doing. So if you are doing an activity, you are going to remind your students the directions just by playing the voice memo. And then this way, you can, if you see students who are off task or need the redirection, all you have to do is play that over again and ask students if they are complying with those instructions. Another voice memo that I have is when students get their papers, we say, when I start my paper, it's always the same. And then they call back, I look at the top and write my name. This way, they are reminded to write their name at the top of their paper and they just said it. Or this will help you with those no-name papers in the long run. And the last thing that you can do for voice memos is you can also add behavioral reminders, such as, we raise our hand to speak, voice level 0, voice level 1, and any voice level that you have, you can add that to your voice commands. So then that way you just have to press the button and it'll let students know exactly what voice level they should be at, etc. Since using this strategy, it has helped me so much. It's gotten my students' attention. I don't feel like I'm projecting my voice as much, and so I feel like I'm saving it some. But also, I've noticed like it's helped my mood a whole lot. Like I don't feel as stressed at the end of the day because I'm literally just facilitating the classroom using voice commands. Some other ideas is you might want to include for your voice commands like a different sound, like a bell or something. So then that way it's the same bell that they hear, or you can have your students read the rules for something like what they should do for daily 5 and let them record their voices so that then when you play it, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, so-and-so said that. So it's not always you. This is a great way to build community in your classroom and let your students take ownership. Overall, voice memos and a Bluetooth speaker, they are going to make your classroom more efficient. It's going to help you run your classroom smoothly and really solidify those rules, routines, and procedures for the entire school year. So I invite you to try using voice memos with a Bluetooth speaker in your classroom and let me know in the comments what additional tips you are going to add to your voice memos. Let me know in the comments what voice memos are you going to add to your classroom. Have a great day. Bye.